Hi, week 6, love it. So, listening to this talk about, for argument's sake, I love these videos. This is just another um, well informed TED Talk that I would have never found on my own, and I really appreciate being able to think about it. Uh, Conan, the way he laid out the 3 different types of models of argument, I enjoyed that. I couldn't quite understand whether he thought one was negative or not, or that we were to aspire to one or the other. I guess the whole concept of being adversarial arguments versus active disagreements, and that kind of speaks to that. But I think all 3 of these kinds of arguments are necessary in society. I classically taught my kids, and the foundation of that concept is that you break down your first through 12th grade learning experience, and you use the first through 4th grades to kind of give them facts and everything. And then 5th through 8th grade through middle school, basically, you're learning the dialectic way to argue. So you are thinking about, why did anybody do this? Like all the different things in history, like why do we care? What do we do? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Those kinds of things. And then the goal is to move on through high school into a more of a rhetoric phase, where you learn how to actually use premises and conclusions and proofs, and then you use your arguments to an audience. And so I'm kind of familiar with all 3 of those types of concepts, but I think that the argument for war obviously is the least productive, but it's also where we start with an identity of what we think, what we believe, and have passion about it. I think a lot of the passion that comes from an argument of war is good for just people in general to get excited about what they think and what they believe. It's kind of part of the process to know who you are as a person. I think that a lot of my own argument would come probably through the whole argument as proofs. Probably like to prove stuff, but just like, does this work? And actually, when it came to the whole thing of trying to find an argument, I used this book when we were going through our last paper, a rule book for arguments, and it is super, super great at just giving you all different kinds of very short read, just so good about how to argue. But getting to an audience is, I think, one of the hardest things to get to. So I agree and about what he was talking about, but I really feel like there was a turning point for me in his discussion, and that's when he mentioned that that you actually, if you're the winner, you're actually the one who lost, because you didn't gain anything. And that really resonated with me. I kind of want to like put it up on some sort of, I don't know, some sort of encouragement. I don't know if that's encouraging, but it's just a statement that really says a lot when you're thinking about arguing with a certain point or a certain stance. And he was talking about the fact that you need new exit strategies, and those come by maybe having new entry strategies. And my husband and I taught in a marriage class last fall, and almost the whole thing about conflict resolution was really getting to a place where your exit strategies and arguments are better and your entry strategies in conflict are better. And I think that there's a maturity that happens in your arguments towards each other. But of course you work on that because you love the person. So I don't know how much we work on actually exit and enter strategies in arguments, especially ones of war. So I agree with him completely. But I think as far as my writing is concerned, when he was talking about the idea that that if you're the loser, you're actually the one that gained again. I think that would change my writing, because I want to assume that the audience that is reading whatever I have to say or hearing what I have to say wants to learn. And if they want to learn, then my job is not just to be right, but it's also to give someone or the loser something to hold on to or something to have gained. And so I really think my persuasion writing would actually benefit from the idea that when I'm writing it, am I giving them anything to gain? Even if they don't agree with me, or even if I win, even if and I should, the better I am at giving them something to gain, then the more research that I've done on why I believe what I believe, which is a great process. So anyway, love this talk. Glad to hear everybody else's thoughts.